The equipment, we have a lot of radio equipment here that comes from way back in the 50s. There's a lot of test equipment here, some equipment that was used here in the control tower, and some communication equipment and other kinds of test equipment, really. The aircraft right here, these are all aircraft that were pictures that were taken here at Moffett Field. These aircraft are actually here. And a number of these models are models of airplanes that were here. This is mostly the Navy right here. This is more test equipment here, radio test equipment that was used early on. Most of these are vacuum units, older units that people don't see any longer. Just kind of interesting. These were electronics of World War II and the Korean War, where this stuff was used. These are typical flying uniforms. This was used by the Navy here, probably since a lot of these came from World War II, and were used well into the present day. This is a section that has. We try to show some of the VR squadrons are here. VR squadrons were used to haul various kinds of freight and personnel all over the Pacific from here. We had a number of squadrons here right at the toward the end of World War II and into the Korean War, and these squadrons were here with the NATS and MATS, which was the Military Air Transport Service there. There were a number, probably 3 or 4 major squadrons here that supported their service to the Pacific area. Over on this section over this way, this is the VP squadrons here that were here. They arrived about 1961 and were here till 1994. They flew a number of different kinds of aircraft. The ones that you're probably most familiar with are the P-3s, which were Lockheed aircraft, and these were used as sub-hunters and were used to look for Russian submarines all during the Cold War. There were a number of squadrons here, including many squadrons that came from foreign countries to be trained here in the use of the P-3 and the anti-submarine aircraft.
This is Bill Fries. He's been the pilot in the Navy for about 20 years. He's also going to talk about the exhibits in the Moffett Field History Museum.
Yeah, I became interested in joining the Moffett Field Museum several years ago, and of course people probably know we were shut down for about 3 years, and we just opened not too long ago. We put this, all of us, several of us helped put this the exhibit together. It was kind of a bare room when we came here, but we put in the partitions, the rugs, all the painting. We painted the whole place, and so it's taken us a year to put it together, but it's been well worth it. Because we want to keep alive the history of Moffett Field with emphasis on the lighter-than-air period, which was, for the United States, we were only in it about 16 years, but it was an interesting, short life in the Navy history, so we want to keep that going here. In this exhibit here, we have some pictures showing the construction of how the Moffett, the big Hangar One was put together. It took, I think, 2 years to build the hangar, and then during World War II, of course, after the crash of the Macon in 1935, in World War II, this was a Army, prior to World War II, this was an Army base, and then the Navy took it back over during the war, and this was a balloon, or rather a blimp training base. They trained pilots to fly blimps for anti-submarine work. These pictures also show the land where this was, the air station was established. I was stationed here at Moffett for 4 years, from 1951 to 54, and there was no Silicon Valley when we were here. It's mostly all orchards. The east gate, the east fence of Moffett Field, everything down there was agriculture. So it was quite a shock when I came back here after retiring from the Navy and see all the buildings going up and all the orchards that were disappearing. I was a pilot during World War II, flying torpedo bombers in the Pacific. In fact, I went in the Navy in about 3 months before Pearl Harbor. So I put a couple of combat tours in the Pacific, flying the Grumman Avenger, and then I was in the Korean War after that, flying off a carrier. We're quite proud of this exhibit. It gives a good history of the Macon being here at Moffett Field. Everything in this display is in the same scale, so you can compare the size of the airplanes and the little men on the flight line here with the model of the USS Macon, which was 785 feet long, as compared to some of the blimps that we used during World War II for anti-submarine work. Over in this corner, some good shots of the little Sparrowhawk airplanes. The Macon could carry 4 of these internally. If you'll notice, when you look closely, you can see the hook up on top of the airplanes, and the pilot would fly underneath the airship and rise up and hook the hook they call the trapeze, and then be carried up inside the airship. And they could park four of these little planes up there. Their main purpose was to scout, to increase the scouting range of the Macon. In those days, we're talking about the 30s, those days before satellites and that sort of thing. And this was a great tool for the Navy to use as scouting, looking for enemy shipping. You'll notice in the model over here that the airplanes have no wheels. On land, the plane would, of course, come in and land at Moffett with undercarriage, but when it got out to the airship, they would pull it up into the hangar bay there and take the landing gear off. The reason for that was to increase the scouting range and the performance of a little airplane. They could do almost 200 knots with their wheels off, so you can see how greatly improved it was for its primary task, is looking for enemy shipping. The big hangar over here was started in 1931 and completed in 1933 in time for the Macon to come out from Akron, Ohio, where it was built. It only lasted here less than 2 years and then crashed off Point Sur down below Monterey, and that was really marked the end of our dirigible period. Moffett was a big training base for blimp pilots during the World War II.